What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new review series for the anime Summertime Rendering. This is the first episode, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
So one thing to note, this is currently not in any streaming site like Crunchyroll or anything like that. This is actually licensed by Disney, surprisingly. And possibly the reason why they're doing this is because they're trying to capitalize on the success of them releasing the Star Wars Vision anime anthology series that they released. I think it was like late last year, I think. So due to that, like Disney decided that they want to join in with with the whole anime department, like joining in with like Amazon, Crunchyroll, Funimation. Netflix is also doing it. So now Disney wants to take part in this whole thing now. And
I should mention, so much like Netflix too, they're not really releasing these. They're actually waiting until all the episodes have come out to put them on their streaming service. So if you actually want to see this, you don't really have a choice but to go to like third party websites or something to watch it, because they're basically trying to, like, Netflix actually learned, at least, and they're actually putting the episodes on their site as they're coming out. But Disney is, I guess, they're just going to wait until everything's out, and this is going to be like a 25 episode series, so like a full season. So anybody who's actually wanting to watch this on Disney Plus is going to have to wait quite a while before the whole thing comes out.
I'm also surprised in how dark this anime series is, considering that this is going to be on Disney Plus sometime later.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of gore, and there's some fan service. So I have to wonder. Like, I mean, I didn't know how they handled adult content on there, because, as you know, Disney is mainly geared towards children. But yeah, apparently there's some kind of password protection thing they do so that you can't access adult content. Although I still kind of worry, because Disney does have a pretty bad track record of censoring pretty much everything on their service, even if it's more geared for adults. So I have to wonder if they're going to do the same thing with this, because there is quite a bit of gore and ecchi. I mean, this is I'll just come right out the gate and say it. This is very much like Higurashi, so you can already expect there's going to be a lot of blood and violence.
Yeah, just the whole premises of this series has a lot of Re:Zero and Higurashi vibes to it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the similar premise where it's basically like Groundhog Day, where the main protagonist is slowly uncovering a mystery, and he dies over and over and over again. And each time he tries to do things differently, or you would say also, like, I guess Day After Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, very similar to that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the first episode did come out in Japan just a few days ago. And like I said, you can't watch this on Disney Plus until after the whole season is over. They said it's going to be at least 25 episodes long, so it's about 2 quarters.
I was kind of surprised about that, honestly. I seriously thought this was going to be like a 13 episode series or something, but I'm glad it's 25 episodes. So at least they can kind of take their time with it.
Yeah.
And apparently this is going to be adapting the entirety of the manga it's based on, which was like 13 volumes. So, I mean, hopefully that's the case. Like, I don't really like when there's an adaptation of a manga and it doesn't really adapt the whole thing or something. We have to wait for maybe another season or for the manga to finish. So I'm kind of glad the manga's finished, and so it can actually adapt like the whole story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the studio animating this is called OLM. It's, for those that don't know, it's also the same animation studio that's currently doing Komi Can't Communicate.
Yeah, and they've also done Pokemon. And Berserk 1998.
Yep. So the first episode. So the main character of the storyline is named Shinpei Ajiro, and he's recently coming back to, like, I forgot what island that he lives in, but it's like a remote rural island that he used to live in a couple of years prior, and apparently he's coming back to it due to one of his friends passing away.
Yeah. Something weird I've noticed about his character design is he's got like, and they don't really bring it up, but it looks like he has 2 different color eyes.
I've noticed. I noticed that too. I mean, they never really fully explained it. I don't know if it has something to do like with his like, with his time travel abilities. Well, that's a spoiler, but or if he was.
Well, we still don't know anything about that anyway. So I mean,
yeah. So he comes back home to attend a funeral of one of his old friends on the island named Ushio, and at first, like he has you could say like a dream sequence of him talking to her, and they have like this interesting art and animation style. You see like this like staticky looking like filter.
It's like a glitch effect.
Yeah, that glitch effect that happens throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, I kind of like series that have like all this, mystery to them like this, because I mean, I have to wonder if the glitch effect is some kind of hint as to what is actually going on. Mm-hmm. So I started forming all these theories, and also mainly because of the glitch effect, it makes me think they're in like a simulation or something like that. But it could just be a artistic choice, so who knows?
Yeah. So he has this dream of his friend Ushio, who tells him to protect her sister Mio, and then soon afterwards he ends up waking up while on the ferry, just like, which leads into a little bit of fan service with him accidentally falling into a woman's chest. So with a little yeah. So Shinpei travels back to the island to attend his friend's funeral, and then he meets up with I think it was a Mio up on the port, and they reveal that Ushio ended up drowning, saving a young girl at one point. And so they attend the funeral, and one of Shinpei's other friends, I think I think it was
yeah, I don't remember his name.
I forgot his name.
But we learned his father performed an autopsy on Ushio.
Yeah, and he reveals to Shinpei that there are markings on Ushio's neck, suggesting that she was strangled rather than drowned. But they haven't really revealed the whole story to the public, and many witnesses saw her drown instead of being strangled. So the most of the episode just showcased like Shinpei mourning his friend's death after he receives like a seashell necklace he gave to her at one point.
Yeah, we also learned some things about him as well, such as that he technically he was adopted into Ushio's family or something, and that they were like, she was I guess like a stepsister or something. Same thing with Mio. So we kind of learned some things about him. And there's just this like continuing like this mystery that keeps growing over Ushio's death and what might actually have caused it. And there's also some weird things that start happening, such as when this plot point starts to get brought up is when I guess they say the only police officer in town ends up seeing Mio standing outside of her own house, like looking at her house. And I thought that scene was kind of weird because they don't really like that. It happens and then it just cuts back to the next day.
Yeah. And then what happens the next day is they reveal that the girl of the family that Ushio ended up rescuing prior ended up going missing overnight. So they try to investigate the real cause for it, and supposedly like when Ushio, no, it's not Ushio, Shinpei talks to Mio about the week leading up to Ushio's death, she claims to have seen like a clone of herself of some sorts while they were picking up trash together on the beach side. Yeah,
like some kind of a doppelganger. And then I forget the guy's name, but this older man walks up and just starts what he says something about the shadow curse, like if the shadow gets, like, if you see your shadow or something like that, if you see your shadow, you're going to die. So I guess some kind of town, like urban legend or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course this leads to Mio claiming before Ushio died that they've both seen a shadow of Ushio before Ushio ended up dying. So the next location they ended up going to is they go to a shrine, a lone shrine on the island, and then all of a sudden they end up seeing another shadow that resembles Mio, and then all of a sudden, while they're going to look for the shadow, they find the exact same woman bleeding out from a gunshot wound. It's the same woman that Shinpei ended up accidentally falling on her chest earlier on in the episode, and so
I kind of figured she would be important because we see her at one other point in the episode kind of like having a conversation with somebody, and it kind of seemed like whatever she was talking about was something that was important to the plot, or I kind of got the feeling she's probably going to end up being like an important character, and maybe she knows what's actually going on or something, or she's investigating it, because like the way she's presented, it seems like she's privy to what's happening, or she's some kind of, like, I don't know, like she's investigating what's going on the island or something. Like I get the feeling that's what her character is there for.
Yeah, so Shinpei tries to help her out, but she tries to warn Shinpei about what's going on, but unfortunately she gets shot in the head by Mio's shadow, who ends up holding the real Mio hostage and ends up shooting her as well before pointing her gun at Shinpei and killing him at like point blank range. And then shortly after this happens, Shinpei, of course, ends up waking up back on the ferry again, while falling on the same woman's breasts again. But it's the point where the episode ends when we find out that Shinpei can supposedly go back in time, similar to how ReZero or Higurashi functions.
Yeah. I anticipate the way the next episode is probably going to start is Shinpei's like, the woman's going to try to slap him again. He'll probably like block the slap because he's ready for it this time. And then he'll just be in a state of shock because, obviously he's just like come back from dying, and she's still alive. So he's probably going to be like asking her a ton of questions, and maybe she won't understand or something. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. But then I guess, I don't know, maybe that's assuming that Shinpei would retain memories of what happened after he died. Because sometimes, like, when they do this kind of plot, maybe the main character doesn't retain those memories. So maybe he won't know. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, really interesting start to the series. I mean, it really has me intrigued as to what might be going on. And yeah, it definitely feels very similar to Higurashi, or it's to some extent, yeah, ReZero as well, just because of the whole time loop thing, or just the return by death.
And it's interesting, like they actually show the dates of when the episode takes place. I think the first date is July 22nd. Then they move on to the next day to July 23rd, and then by the time Shinpei dies and then it loops him back into July 22nd again. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm pretty intrigued by this series. I mean, I did look into reviews for the manga, and apparently people are saying it's pretty good. So, with shows like this, I kind of always get concerned that the mystery they build up and the answers we get to it aren't always going to be satisfactory. So, I mean, I didn't really spoil myself or anything, but people seem to like the manga. So hopefully that means that, the anime is going to be just as good.
Now I'm curious on like how they're going to handle the dub for this show, because we know like it's not the same distribution as like how Funimation or Crunchyroll would do it. And if we remember, like back when they did the dub for the Star Wars Visions anime series, they didn't really have a lot of like of like a lot of the notable anime voice actors that we normally hear from. It's just mostly like how do I say this, like
celebrities,
like the big time celebrities like Neil Patrick Harris or Karihiro Tagawa or something like that. So it's only maybe on like a couple handful of like voice actors and actresses from that did voice acting for animes, but here, like I don't know, like how Disney's gonna end up handling that.
Yeah, I mean, considering they're gonna start putting the episodes on their site, like I'm guessing well after the show is already over. Like I'm wondering if they're gonna be like before they do that, they're gonna actually like dub it, or if they're going to put it on their subbed and then eventually dub it. So yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I'm not really sure how they're going to handle that.
Well, here's another thing I do need to warn people about if they are looking to watch this on Disney Plus. Let's just say the subs for Star Wars Visions was terrible. It just not like the subs, like it's just more like the black bar sub style format.
Oh, you like closed captions?
Yes, that's how they did that. And I don't know like how they're gonna end up, how Disney's gonna end up handling the show once it releases on their site. Whether if it's gonna be like like normal translations, or if it's just gonna be caption translations, I don't know. But the caption translations just didn't fit all that well when Star Wars Visions came out a few months ago.
Yeah, I feel like if they're going to be doing this, they need to put some more effort in, because it feels like in that case, they just kind of did maybe a rough translation of it or something. But yeah, I mean, so far I'm pretty interested in what's going to happen with this series. I don't really have too much else to say about it, because, this obviously the first episode, like, it pretty much acted like the hook for the whole series. It's like, when you find out the character is pretty much going to be living through the same day over and over again. So I guess like over time, we're going to start to get answers as to what's going on. So yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about the episode.
I did like the opening song for this show. I think it's
I thought it was okay. Like, I don't know. I wasn't too like it was alright. Like I wasn't too impressed by it, to be honest. Like it's there's not really a lot of like it feels very minimalist with the visuals, I guess, for the opening itself. I did kind of like how they did the ending though, where they had like it looked like a real it looked like footage, like real footage of the ocean, and then they like did some kind of weird effect with it. I thought that was kind of cool. The opening is kind of weird too, because they had like, I don't know if it was kanji or something, I guess. Like
it's mostly kanji, and a lot of like snippets of like different things that's probably showcased on the island. I don't know. It's pretty ambiguous of sorts. So when you look at it, and of course you only see Ushio and Shinpei literally by the end of the opening song.
I guess they're just really trying not to give away too much with the opening, which I guess I can kind of understand.
Yeah, I think it's better that way, since it'll just ruin the surprise for everyone, considering if like nobody has like ever read the manga for this.
Yeah, kind of surprised we don't actually have the manga over here, but I guess if the show gets popular enough, they might start start publishing it over here in the West. But yeah, guys. So wait. So when does this usually air? Is it on?
April. When was April 15th? I forgot when that was. It was at Friday. It's
Friday.
every Friday then.
Yeah. Well, so that being said, guys, I guess until next time, we will see you all later.